Hello, this is Good Morning Transfers. There is just 10 days until the Premier League returns, which means, of course, the transfer business is hotting up. So much to discuss here with the former Stoke, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Everton. I could probably chuck in a few more, couldn't I? Goalkeeper Asmir Begovic and our reporter Danielle Kahn. Will Bruno Guimarães get his move to Arsenal? They're considering their options after having a bid rejected. But should Mikel Arteta's men focus on a deal for a forward? Perhaps Vinicius Jr.
That's fine.
All right, let's get started then, guys, shall we? We've got to lead off with Bruno Guimarães. Dan, bring us up to date here, because it seemed like Arsenal took an age to make contact with Newcastle. They have now, and it's been rejected, this first offer.
Yeah, and it felt like yesterday was the first step of what could happen in this potential transfer. In terms of, we had been talking for days that there'd be no club-to-club contact just yet, and then it came yesterday when Newcastle rejected Arsenal's first bid for their captain, Bruno Guimarães. Our colleague Dharmesh Sheth has said that Arsenal are now considering to go back for another bid, which you'd imagine at this moment in time they will, because he is someone they very much admire, the Newcastle United captain. So that's what the next development that we're waiting for. But what we do know is Bruno Guimarães did join his teammates yesterday in Spain as part of their pre-season camp that was agreed with the club. He'd been given a few more days off to do that. And we saw quite a classy gesture to the departing previous manager, Eddie Howe, as well, which by the Newcastle United captain, considering his situation, you have to kind of appreciate this as well, Asma.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's not an easy situation for Bruno Guimarães, and everyone involved in Newcastle. So much change, so much transition. But, I think last time I was on with you, the Bruno Guimarães talk started, and I can only see this ending in one way. And that's in Bruno Guimarães and Arsenal colours. It's inevitable, obviously.
You think there's no way that Newcastle can hold on to him?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think when the Premier League champions, Bruno Guimarães wants to challenge himself, wants to play at the highest level, wants to play in the Champions League. So I think when the Premier League champions come calling, and the fact that Newcastle don't have Europe, and the fact that Eddie Howe has left, I think there's only one option here.
Yeah. From Arsenal's point of view, I've been speaking to some Arsenal fans about it, and obviously they're going to ask the question as well later on FC. Do Arsenal need Bruno Guimarães? What's your view on that?
Well, I think they do. I think they do need him. I think they need to strengthen. I think when you're Arsenal and you're in this position, I think what's really key for Mikel Arteta, I think all the leadership, the board of Arsenal, Josh Kroenke, is to make the most out of this window. It's their window now to win, to be successful. There's no guarantees in football. When you're on top, I think it's when you keep your foot down on the pedal and you go again and you push again. I think Bruno Guimarães would be that sort of statement signing, really in the heart of that midfield, to continue to push that team to higher levels. Because I think Arsenal's ambitions are now not just Premier League. Ambitions will be Champions League, multiple trophies, and go from there. In order to do that, you need the best possible squad. And I think Bruno coming in there, in the heart of that team, would add a different layer to that.
I also think it's the next step in the development of this Arsenal squad. I mean, we can look at some of the options they have in midfield. And actually, I think you look at last summer and you look at what Mikel Arteta tried to do with the depth between Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, bringing Eze and Madueke. You look at that midfield there and the options they have. You look at Declan Rice, for example, the gap to whoever comes in for him is quite significant. Yes, they brought in Martin Zubimendi, who maybe petered out a little bit towards the end of last season. You had Miles Lewis-Skelly, who had said he'd been training for 6 months to become a midfielder, who we saw start in the Champions League final. Yes, he's another option. But actually, what you want to see is two very, very strong midfields in the Champions League and the Premier League. And this is a great example of what I'm saying. Declan Rice, 3,099 minutes. I mean, the maximum you can play in the Premier League is 3,400, around that.
Oh.
They were so reliant on him. You think with someone like Bruno Guimarães, you have the option to come in for him or play alongside him, and that's what I think Mikel Arteta is looking at to really not fix, but add to what he started last summer.
They definitely need more depth, because you got the feeling, Zubimendi in particular really ran out of steam, didn't he, at the end of the season. But just looking at just the numbers there, so like now everyone's fit. You've got Marino as well there. So you're talking about, if Guimarães comes in, you've got Guimarães, Rice, Zubimendi, Lewis-Skelly, Odegaard, Eze and Marino. That's 7 midfielders. can you keep all of them if you bring Guimarães in? Can you keep them all happy?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think you can. I really think you can. And I say that because, one, I think Christian Norgard, I think he's been linked with Everton, so I think I could see him leaving. When you look at the last 2 years for Arsenal, we saw Mikel Merino play up front. We've seen Miles Lewis-Skelly play in midfield when things happen. Again, with this extended season that's now past us, with the World Cup, the minutes Declan Rice has played, again, the ambitions of Arsenal, wanting to compete at 4 different competitions, doing all these things, they're going to be playing even more games, more minutes. So that squad's going to be stretched. So there will be definitely enough games, enough minutes to go around for everyone. Injuries are inevitable. They will happen. So no doubt that he can keep all these players happy.
And just to add, I mean, Asma, you can probably better talk to this. If you're the Arsenal team, you know, you've had a very long season, you've basically gone as far as you can, got to a Champions League final, you won the league. But to have someone like Bruno Guimarães potentially coming into that changing room, I mean, that must be huge, you know, in terms of seeing the ambition of the club to go again.
Yeah,
100%.
Listen, of course it is, right? And we've seen there that Arsenal need backup in midfield. But what should be the priority here? What's the number one priority? Is it getting a midfielder in? We saw there they've got some strong midfield options already. Or is it improving the attack, in particular left wing?
That's, I think, another position they need to address, and I think they will address it without a doubt.
But should they not address that first?
You know, maybe that's depending on who's available. You know, we all seem to talk about Vinicius Jr. and whether he's maybe that option. The only other worrying part for me is if I'm Arsenal, like, how injured is William Saliba? What is the deal there? Like, how long will he be out? Because if this is really, you know, if we're talking backs, these are very delicate injuries. So I think if it's a case of him being out for an extended period of time, they might also, we saw them link with John Stones a little bit. I could see Arsenal dipping into that centre-half market as well.
Yeah, well, we'll wait news on that. They may well do that as well. What is going on with Vinicius Jr. then at the moment, Dan? Where are we?
Well, I think it's still a watching brief from an Arsenal perspective. I mean, I think they'll be watching even more intently now because we saw Vinicius Jr. rejoin his Real Madrid teammates yesterday. You know, he seemed very happy. He was doing his medical examinations in the morning before they did a bit of a video diary with him on his first day back. And look, he's going to sit down with Real Madrid in the coming days, weeks, around what his future looks like at the club, whether he signs a new contract or not. Real Madrid seem very confident he will. I mean, they've kind of groomed him from such a young age to become this star at the club. And we saw him in the World Cup, of course, as well. For Arsenal, they're going to see how this unravels. And if Vinicius Jr. doesn't seem likely to sign a new contract at Real Madrid, they'll look to cash in. I think Arsenal are in the wings to make a move forward.
What is your thought on this? Because there's two kind of schools of thought, aren't they? That, oh, this could really happen. This could be the mega signing for Arsenal. And then there's another group, and Jay Bothford would be amongst them, quite negative on this, saying, well, Vinny, it's never going to happen. Vinny Jr. is playing Arsenal so that he gets a new contract. Which of those camps would you be in?
Well, that could well be true. I mean, I'm not on the inside with the inside scoop here in terms of what's going on. It could well be that he is using it as leverage for Real Madrid and making sure he gets the best possible deal. But in terms of if you're Arsenal, there's a possibility of getting him, you know, financially, if it's doable, to fit him into that left wing position with that strength in the midfield, with Bukayo Saka on the other side, Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz in the middle. Now you're talking about a real super team, and you know, that should get Arsenal fans really, really excited.
I think to your point though, Matt, left wing does seem to be the area to strengthen, and I think it's a specific profile of winger as well. I think we saw in the Champions League final, they missed that direct winger who can take someone on that left-hand side. And, you know, that's why Vinicius makes sense. That's also why there's probably a few other wingers who, if that doesn't happen, they can maybe look to pursue. I mean, someone I'd probably throw out, I know his future at the moment seems to be Old Trafford, but I think Marcus Rashford, for example, would be quite a significant reinforcement on that left-hand side, who would immediately improve their situation on that side, and is the right type of profile, I think, that would really be a different type of option for Arsenal.
He has been linked with Arsenal before. I don't think that would be a complete shock.